Good afternoon from my side and from our very large team of two. Oh, we are the best, right? Woo! Okay. Our presentation today has a title to see or not to see. That is the question. And basically, we are also dividing the presentation between our two and looking into these three themes. I will talk a little bit about line detection and some of the basics that most application. Normally, you can have either automatic techniques, which typically use YUV or RGB color spaces, and that can be rather complex. And for instance, integrate non-convex multiple volumes within the same color space. Or you can use assisted offline techniques, which are in this case based on observation from a human. And in these situations, the color spaces normally used are HSV, HSL, or HSI, depending on preferences, or other stuff depending also on application. And in this case of assisted offline techniques, which is the case that we use in CAMBADA, one of the reasons that we do this is that it can be performed offline in advance and generate lookup tables for time-efficient segmentation in real time, basically. So normally, this is a well-known picture, which is the CEI, the Commission Internationale de l'Éclairage. So it's the Illumination International Commission that have already defined, oh, there's an error there, 1931, there's nothing wrong there, okay, no problem. Has defined this plain definition of color space that was based, this was back in 1931, was based on psychophysiological analysis of the human visual system and the perception of color against the spectrum which is represented on the periphery. And inside this, what happens in real systems that use either additive or subtractive methods for generating color. You normally don't use the full range of colors that can be perceived by human, but as an example, the sRGB space is defined within this sub-area. Yes, sRGB space, by the way, has been defined in 1996, I think, by Packard and Microsoft as a standard for computer vision and also for television. Okay, examples of well-known color spaces for, in this case, assisted offline techniques are RGB. Not so common for this for assisted, because it's not easy for us to understand the space generally known as that. But hue saturation value model, for instance, or hue chroma value. And by the way, there's also some confusion between these two models. We call these HSV, and actually we are representing chroma on this axis, not saturation. And also hue chroma lightness. There are some short definitions. Chroma, for instance, is colorfulness, so the amount of color relative to the brightness of a similarly illuminated light, but saturation is colorfulness of the stimulus relative to its own brightness. So there is a small difference between these two. So in our case, we use a quite common strategy, offline, as I said, assisted offline segmentation. We don't actually use neither of these models. We use a composed model which uses hue, chroma, and luma. So hue is basically a representation of color in the spectrum, represented as an angle. And chroma, we have defined it here. And this Y apostrophe called luma is a weighted equation of the RGB basis with different weights for the red, the green, and the blue. And this is defined for use in computer vision also. In our case, feature extraction is based on radial and circular sensors that you can see both superimposed on our OmniVision system. And feature extraction, in our case, also uses radial and circular sensors segmented in a way that each pixel has one byte which flags for 8 different colors, which means that one pixel in my image can actually be classified as different colors, and then depending on the kind of feature I want to extract, I can use different approaches in terms of the color I'm looking into or the weight I want to put into one of those colors. So this is the segmented image. The robot is in the center of the field. Maybe some of you can notice that this is the field in our lab. White walls, closed spaces. Last year the workshop was there, right? And there is no other robots in this case. They are on the periphery of the field. There is a yellow ball over there, but it's not so important. Anyway, why do you use, in this case, the luma instead of the value, which is the most common use for color segmentation? Basically because the view is highly sensitive to overexposed areas and also to blooming and Bayer pattern effects. So this is an image, or part of an image of our omnivision system. You can see here something that should be red, but it's more brownish, vector line, sensor, let's say. And you can see that there is an overexposed area of the field, that area. And this small blue square is zoomed in, and we are supposed to see a white line over here. But as you can see, because it's zoomed in, you can see that actually there is no white spots. In this case, is basically also because of blooming, but mainly because of Bayer pattern effect. It means that they are a little bit lighter, but they are either bluish or yellowish, depending on the pattern that is used to compose each image. This is a white line at 6 meter distance from our robot, and of course this depends on the configuration of the mirror we are using. This is, in this case, our mirror. Our mirror is not clearly the best possible solution because the resolution decreases very heavily for distances above 3 meters, let's say. So at 6 meters, our resolution goes down to maybe 10 to 15 centimeters between 2 pixels. So at 6 meters, it's really, really hard to determine a white line, let's say. If you look, for instance, for this radial sensor that you see here, and you use the V component on the HSV, for instance, model, what you get is something like this, which means that you get a saturated value on that region of there. And if instead you use the luma component, you can see that you don't saturate the image, and even there is this small peak over here that actually represents the lighter points on the white line. Okay. So of course you can ask, well, is it really important to determine that there is a white line 6 or 8 meters away from the robot? And I would say that for the time being, no. Normally we can position ourselves with a high precision as long as you can see the lines that are maybe around 4 meters around the robot. It's more than enough. But if you think ahead, and maybe that we move into let's say a futsal pavilion, then you start having maybe higher problems or huger problems to self-position or determine the self-position of each robot in the field. So what we are actually doing for looking into lines that are normally not easy to see is to make a combination of color segmentation and luma analysis to improve line detection. So we also use segmentation for color classification, but together with that we look into these particular spikes, and of course these particular spikes have to have some parametric characteristics that can be used to evaluate if it is or it is not a white line. So, in short, basically what to do for line segmentation strategy is to use the color sensors. Actually, we use run-length encoding for the color sensors. Then we use some simple and fast evaluation algorithms that can produce white spot candidates. And this solution is reducing what you see as blue spots on the image. So basically, you can see some blue spots over the center line, of course, on the center circle of the field. There are 2 spots over there, by chance. Yeah, maybe if you want, but it's, yeah, okay. Detected 2 spots over there, okay? But basically, what you can see is those white lines that are closer to the road. Of course, when the road moves on the field, then you can start seeing the side lines or the area lines, and based on that, you can make the matching and determine the final position. So, by adding that new component, what we get now is, so basically what we do is analysis of the luma, but the derivative of the luma, and then we evaluate the Q factor, the quality factor of that spike, plus the color boundaries, which means that together with this Q factor, we also evaluate if we have green spots before and after that spike. And this results as the red spots on the image. Can you just zoom in into? Yeah, you can see that this point is maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 meters, 11 meters away, for instance. And you can see that most of the white line on the periphery of the field and most of the white lines on the areas can be determined using this way. So this actually gives us extra information with farther away points that when we move on into larger fields may still, we don't know, we haven't tried it out, but may still allow us to self-locate with significant precision. So this is what I have to show about line detection. So moving to ball detection, I'll pass the word to Ricardo. I don't know if there is any question regarding this first part. Okay, so let's go.
Okay, so ball detection, you might be asking that these guys probably solved this a long time ago. I will tell you, not really. And why? So we were working on strategy and passes and receiving balls, and we started to realize that the receiving rate was not very high. So moving down one level, we looked at the Kalman filter, but you know that the Kalman filter doesn't really only does as good as the input that you give it. So we found out that there were lots of false positives, no, false negatives. Well, we were not detecting the ball in a lot of cycles. So we had a common filter that was doing its best, but with very low rate of information count. So we did some changes on the detection of the ball. So we basically had the color segmentation to find the ball in the image and then extract its position. And in the last year we introduced 2 new levels. So starting from the top, we have this range of HSV that gives us the segmentation per pixel for every pixel on the image. Let's just focus on the ball that is drawn in yellow in this image. You can have perfect conditions on your lab and have a segmentation that looks like this, and this is nearly perfect segmentation. You can see the ball is in a circle, but you know that in reality you don't have this. So the conditions of lighting can change a lot, and you can have something like this, or even worse, something like this. And this screws up the next block that is trying to extract the position of the ball. So the next block is just a blob selection, and it tries to find blobs of yellow color or the color of the ball, whatever that is. And if we zoom in this particular frame, then we have an offset between what is the real position of the ball and the center of the blob that we are detecting. And this, as you probably know, when you move from pixels to meters, this will project the ball further away than what it really is, and even worse, with an offset in an angle as well. So we are now using this blob detection as a starting point for the next block, which is edge detection. So we start at the center of the blob, which in this example would be somewhere around here, and we fire 100 scan lines, radial scan lines, around this point. And this will give us the edge of the ball with some false positives, of course, but will give us around 90 points which are in the edge of the ball. So we fire the scan lines and we search for the start of green, black or white, because the ball can be above a white line or near an obstacle. And then we use these edges to try to fit a circle, and we get something like this, which is a lot different than, you can see that the center of the circle is almost the center of the ball. And this fitting is done using a ransack. We basically sample 3 points of those edges. We fit a circle using those 3 points, and then we score that circle. We measure the error for all of the other edges, and we give it a score. And we do it 80 times. This gives us 80 circles, and then at the end it's just an weighted average over the score of each of the circles. So this is a little challenge for you. Can you find the ball in the image? Yeah, so it's right there, it's almost occluded. Our blob detection algorithm actually can find the blob there, but the validations that we were doing afterwards were not passing because the blob doesn't have the size of an expected ball for this distance. It's a lot smaller. But the truth is that by zooming in, we are able to fire those scan lines, and we are able to find the edges of the ball. And this gives us a center that is really not bad for what we can see in this frame. I have another example of where this works really well. We have the supports of our mirror system, which is above the camera, and we can find the center of the ball in a pixel which we don't even process. So this is being ignored in the segmentation, but we can find the ball. You can find the ball there. Before I move on to obstacles, is there any question?
Yeah, I like it.
You can buy it.
I was more thinking of a reference to also.
Yeah.
For the ransack algorithm, you chose 80 iterations. Did you go for 80?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. So we tried different values. We of course tried to lower it down because of processing time. But in the end, I don't have any pretty graphs to show you why 80 is better than 90.
Fair enough.
Well, 80 is always better than 90 because it's faster.
As long as the performance is just
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, one question. Have you tried it with looping or? Yeah.
Yes, actually, this is a video. This is a video. I chose just 2 or 3 frames, but this actually tracks the ball from this point over there. So it works well also in further distances. So obstacle detection. How do we do obstacle detection? We do it in a similar way in which we find the edges of the ball, but we fire scan lines from the center of the image or the center of the camera. We fire lots of scan lines, radial scan lines, and then we try to find transitions from either green to black or white to black. And this would be in this frame, for example, the edges that we detect. Afterwards, we convert these from pixels to meters, and once we have the x and y of each points, what we do is we cluster these into groups. Okay, we use k-means or COP k-means because we use background knowledge. We know the size of the obstacles. It can be bigger than 70 centimeters. It can be shorter than 30, I guess. It's the lower threshold. And we run these k-means and we can cluster them. Afterwards, we end up with groups and we try to find the mean of the points that belong to the clusters. And then by experimental analysis we found out that this is not the center of the obstacle, but is 10 centimeters closer, around 10 centimeters closer. So we project these points 10 centimeters back, and that is the position of each obstacle that we see. This works well.
Except when techinated and on their lines.
Yeah.
We were just discussing.
Yeah, we just discussed, now we know why.
So now you understand why we wish you.
But that actually makes it easier for you guys, right? You just have to look for blue.
Now we will change to green lights. You have
Green
less computation.
As long as you don't turn on lights that look exactly with the same color of the ball, I guess it's not too bad. Like orange or yellow.
We don't have those, right?
Yeah.
You have those. Okay, so this works really well until you get the ball in front of an obstacle. Okay, so the transition now happens above the ball. And the problem with this is that once you cluster the group and you do the mean, instead of having the point here near the periphery of the obstacle, you will get the mean further away, right? And then we would project it 10 centimeters after, and we would get something like the following. So I have one observing robot here, I have one stopped robot here, and I will throw the ball near it. It won't even touch the robot, and have a look at what happens with obstacle number 7. So it didn't move, but because of the effect that I showed in the previous slide, it is for the robot it is moving. So we have to think a little bit on how to overcome this problem. And what we do is now the following. We still cluster it into a group, but we classify the points that appear after the ball. So the points that you see there in cyan are the points that we classified as being after the ball. So what we do is then, after clustering, get the mean of all of them, and then we use this vector, this one, this vector, alright? And we simply change the size of this vector to be the median of the distance of the points that are not after the ball. Okay, so instead of having this vector, we would have probably this vector. Alright? And then we project 10 centimeters further, just like we did earlier. And we have something like this. Just know that the ball is not going somewhere from here, and it will touch the obstacle and go away, which is even worse because the points will be even higher on the image. And have a look at what happens with obstacle 7 again. So the motion is negligible. And this brings us to the conclusions. I don't know if you want to make any questions right now.
Yes, so you only model robots, so the human was not modeled at all, or as obstacles more far away.
For example, here we would probably cluster these points, and this would give us an obstacle.
What about itself? What about itself?
Itself is out of, we have a mask that keeps it outside.
Because in the video before,
Everything that belongs to the robot is not treated.
Yeah, so everything you see here in gray is not
in gray,
even processed.
Raised and processed.
in the first video you can see the person as some robots. Yes, I think the 2, 3, 4 and 5 are the human that grows walls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just treat them as black spots, and for us it's an obstacle to avoid, whether it's a robot or whether it's a human.
Yeah, but you will detect it from more far away, won't you?
It depends on what you're wearing.
Okay.
That's right. That's the truth. Yeah, of course.
And it's assuming that you have this very stable camera, it's not moving around. I mean, against after some collision, then the camera will not.
Yeah,
The mask,
the
I mean.
camera will always move anyway, not just slightly, not the camera, but the robot base,
Okay.
and because of the Omni wheels, but it's not significant from that point of view. Okay. Of course, that if we get into a crash against Nubot, for instance, probably one of our wheels will actually go up, and then we'll have a significant, but it's for a short period of time, so a significant change in our distance management.
Any other questions?
How do you handle the crowd of defenders which are standing side by side?
Yeah.
So how do you come to the conclusion that these are 2 or 3 defending robots when they are close to each other?
So that is part of the COP-K-means clustering algorithm. Once you know that there is no obstacle that is larger than 50 centimeters, and you can have a little margin, we use 70.
Yeah.
Once you have 2 points in the same cluster that are more than 70 centimeters away from each other, then we split that cluster in the middle for the next iteration. So the K-means is an iterative algorithm, and you can do these kind of things in the middle. So you can merge when you have 2 obstacles that are very, very near, you merge them into one, but you can also split when you see that an obstacle is getting too big.
How big is the problem that when, from the perspective of the robots, the defending are standing behind each other, directly connected, so that you have not the width of 70 centimeters violated, but yeah, still it's bigger, maybe 20 centimeters of the robots behind the first one looking outside. And
Okay, for example, in this image, what you're saying is, imagine if you have one robot that's behind this one,
yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
So you would detect points here, okay, and this point and this point, once you project them to the in meters, they are very, very far away. This is more than one. This is probably more than 70 centimeters, and you would split them into 2.
So you first project it to distance in actual world.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then start
Yeah,
group
that's right.
clustering.
Yeah, clustering is on the actual one. Exactly.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, basically, because we only
Of
Yeah,
course,
number
you
of
can have
cases.
occlusion. You can have occlusion, of
Yeah,
course, but you can also have history for tracking if you want.
Any other questions? Then let's move on to the conclusions. So in this presentation, we showed how we improved the line detection, especially at further distances. We also improved the ball detection accuracy while dealing with occlusions. And also obstacle detection that accounts for that partial occlusion by the ball. And we had this in mind. It's important to not significantly increase the computational costs. Otherwise, we can do lots of things in vision, but most of them cost a lot of time. So this is done using simple heuristics and very simple algorithms to keep the time down. And that concludes our presentation.
So what is the vision update? So how many images per second?
50 hertz,
50 images.
each 20 milliseconds.
Yeah.
And we do the processing of vision, the agent, and then on the next frame we send the orders to the low level. So it's synchronized with the next frame.
And then of that 20 milliseconds period, how much is being consumed by these steps? So the ball detection, line detection, and obstacle detection?
I don't have numbers for each of them. I can tell you that the vision processing overall is 10-11 milliseconds.
So that's half of the
Half of the time.
So you could double, take a faster camera.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Or do some more fancy algorithms.
How does it affect your original problem where you said, I want to improve my ball interception by seeing the ball better?
Well, I think you can answer that. In the last tournament, you saw that we received a lot more and we positioned a lot better.
This was all implemented.
That was just the improved vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the common filter was not even
Wow.
tuned.
Yeah, yeah.
So the problem was not the common filter, the problem was not the behavior.
The
the
center
problem
of
was-
the blob not only produces variation in distance, but also variation in angle, which means that the movement vector has a lot of noise. So evaluating in advance when the ball is moving fast, exactly that correct direction has improved a lot using this technique.
Cool. Any other questions?
These algorithms are free available.
Sorry?
These algorithms are available.
Well, not yet, but we can give it.
You can buy them.
Yes.
Could you describe it again?
Next Black Friday, we have a promotion.
Did you describe it in a paper or in a report?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But
But after that, of course, and as we already released our previous version of most of our software, we will also release this. This is, some of this stuff is rather new, still have to be tested further, and so it has also people. And then, of course, it's there for the community.
Do you have a special kind of CPU or is it just an i7?
i5.
i5.
i5 at 2.3 gigahertz, I guess.
Yeah.
Laptop type or this?
It's laptop type, yeah.
Any other questions?